Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another live stream / recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, November 15th, and we've got a full set of things to do, so let's trade out the cheapest one to start off with. Now we have Hunter, win 3 games with the Hunter class cards, win 3 games with the Shaman, or play 50 Druid class cards. And doing these two and leaving this one to potentially trade is exactly what I need to do. So, also we have the Tavern Brawl, so let's hop in that and see where we start with this. The Catacombs are so close you can taste them, race with the opponent to complete the quest, giving both players a chance at an awesome treasure. And this week it will be the new expansion. Now, an interesting thing happened, was said by Kriperian. He said that somewhere Blizzard announced that they weren't going to do any more solo single-player expansions. I wouldn't doubt that if that was true, but I hadn't seen that it was officially announced. If that certainly is the case, then that will change how we decide to proceed with gold and expansions. That being said, there also is a factor to consider in this expansion, because it is theoretically going to be the shortest possible expansion that you can use in standard play, because they're going to whenever they move all of the quests to wild, which I'm not certain they actually are going to do, 7 minions played by any player. Okay. Well, I can't do anything. And what's this? 7 minions played by any player. It's the same quest. Well, this isn't gonna work. It'll give him the treasure as soon as it gives me the treasure. The only thing is I could get 1 turn advantage. And that's it. So already we can see the Tavern Brawl is busted. Also, speaking of things busted, the YouTube announcement thing seems to be busted again. It was working for almost a whole week. A whole week of actually announcing when things were coming out. And now it didn't work. Which sucks. Certainly. YouTube's still a little broken with the automated, not ad-friendly stuff. It seems like if you now request a review, it puts it through a secondary AI, more thorough review of things, and then automatically will undo whatever mistake it made that determined it was advertiser unfriendly in the first place. For the most part, that being said, there's still a few that are just sitting waiting for 1,000 views that they'll never get, and that they don't seem like they're ever going to they're ever going to be remonetized, which fine, whatever. The biggest thing is I'm still kind of debating whether I should just go back and request a review of Honey Pop in particular, since I spent extra effort censoring that. Like, it seems unfair to have that entire series unmonetized simply over it being a dating simulation with, well, adult talk in the dating. This is as slow as it can get out. Speaking of sort of slow, I finished Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Mostly, I just had the DLC Pigsy's Perfect 10 to do, which is an interesting name both for the game and for the DLC. And honestly, Pigsy's Perfect 10 is the best example I've ever seen of DLC being bad for the main game. The main game was missing polish. It could easily have used all of the production time and money that was spent to make that DLC. And frankly, if they had just pushed back the release of Enslaved to accommodate that, it would have been a better experience. Almost certainly anyways. So yeah, that sucks. That really sucks. Pigsy's Perfect 10 was almost a good game, except for it didn't ever tell you what to do. I guess now I don't have any reason to play that, so now, and I can't open this. So, alright. Yeah, there's a real argument to not purchasing all 50 card packs of this new expansion and instead picking the classic card packs some more and trying to get more of a more of the classic legendaries done. Let's see. Play this wild. There's still a lot of classic epics I'm missing even on my main account too. Yeah, I guess there's not a ton to say about Pigsy's Perfect 10 though. It in the last fight it introduced a gameplay mechanic that apparently I was able to do the whole game like 4 hours of this DLC, and it never told me I could do that. And because I didn't know I could do that, I was frustrated and upset with the game, which is no way to end the game. It was rather repetitive in sections. Some of the gameplay elements would have been nice if they were skillfully placed in the main game to break up long runs of doing other things, but there were so many other things that had already been done in the main game of Enslaved that it kind of didn't make sense to put more things in it and make it even a more inconsistent game, I suppose. And the story writing in the DLC is like twice as good as the main game. The characterization and the lines, I probably be a bit of an exaggeration to say it was twice as good, but it wouldn't be too off. I guess I'll make a confession. I'm attempting for Thanksgiving to try and actually be awake at noon, which people that have followed my channel long enough know that I suffer from insomnia, and doing normal things like, oh, I guess that this only works on Beast. Doing normal things like waking up at a normal amount of time is rather difficult. So I'm coming off a strange event where I went to sleep last night at like 10, then I woke up at like 3, maybe I went to sleep at 9 and then woke up at 3. So I got one of the 2 REM cycles that you have usually when you sleep 8 hours straight. Which some people say that's more productive, is to nap and or have separate sleep cycles like that. And unfortunately society just doesn't work with that. So after that I got up and worked on something. I don't even remember what I worked on. I may have been recording for a little bit, or I may have been doing something different, and then I went back to sleep again at like noon, and here I am at 4. So about a second 4-hour sleep schedule, a second REM cycle, which means while I feel fine right now, if this goes into 4 or 5 hours of streaming, which I don't think it is actually, not at this rate, I'm gonna be very, very mentally depleted, and I'm gonna start rambling and mumbling even more than normal. Amazing. I got a comment where somebody said, "Man, you're so slow. I mean, I'm at twice speed and I'm still skipping ahead." And I'm like, okay. Like, it was on one of my pre-recorded episodes, and I'm like, well, yeah, those are slow. Because they're long plays. They're beginning to end entire playthroughs of the game. So he's either criticizing me for talking slow and he wants to hear me talk, or he's criticizing me for playing slow, and in a lot of cases playing games, no matter the level of skill, it's still going to take about the same amount of time. Like, I certainly have noticed that my gameplay style tends to make me take maybe 30 minutes to an hour longer, but it never really has doubled the amount of time. If anything, my Skyrim run through is probably very short, but that's an outlier, certainly. So let's get to the news. Let's see, there's a Gamatsu Death End Request has detailed some more character artwork. What kind of game is this? Every time I do this, I feel like I've probably already talked about this game, already figured out what kind of game it is, and then they put out a new article that says, here's something new that will make you have to relearn it. Something about cyber terrorists, and a game called World's Odyssey inside the video game. So a game within a game. So kind of like a Digimon thing, except for in this instance it doesn't seem like you get monsters or in that, I think one of the Digimon things you merge with the monsters, but I don't even think they do that anymore. Instead it seems like you yourself turn into the magical creatures. They look like a half cyber, half monster anime girls, all of them. It is actually an interesting style, though, but frankly, most of them are. I guess we could get down to percentages at this point. 70% or more naked in this, with very little being hidden. So like two-piece bikini or a little bit more than that. And they've got a lot of them. I want to know what the gameplay is like, though. Okay, as I end the turn. Like, here's literally like another game that would be like Honey Pop if I tried to put it on YouTube. Like, I still don't know what this game, how this game plays, but I imagine it's just either a visual novel or an RPG. Let's see. We'll go to their main website, official Japanese website, and see if that just kicks me away completely or is useless. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm... Oh, this is the game that has the 3 different styles of gameplay in it, where there's like one that's a 2D fighter and one that's an RPG and one that's a slot machine, so it's just all over the place. But that's about all I can tell from the Japanese website because it's all in Japanese. Man, that and this don't connect well at all. Well, yeah, I'm interested to see what this game finally turns out to be, and if it comes to the West, which I would argue there's a high chance it won't. Moving on to the next story, since that really wasn't that much of a story. Call of Duty World War II has been accidentally granting double XP since launch. Let's see. The mistake came to light during the now extended double XP weekend. That does not bode well for the game at all, because that means that either they had it set up in such a way that the game felt right when you were getting the double XP, and now the game is going to feel like a grind when you don't get it, or the game and the XP doesn't really matter at all and nobody cares about it, or nobody's playing the game. So I think also this is an EA game, and certainly EA has been having a lot of trouble lately in shooting its mouth off and just consistently trying to affirm that it is deservingly known as the worst country and the worst company in the United States. EA's certainly trying to get away from that mess, but it's not working very well, and I think kind of deservedly it's suffering. Let's see if it actually suffers for a quarter or two to make it actually change its ways, which I doubt. The latest bit of news as far as Battlefront 2, people are very upset with the progression system, even as they've reduced it down to 75% of what it used to be. They've reduced it down to 25% of what it used to be to get to the top tier characters like Darth Vader. There's still a lot of grinding in it, and it's the latest article or post on Reddit says it either costs somewhere, was it $200 or $400 to unlock everything, or 2,000 hours. So you're still very much like not at a point you want the game to be at. 4,000 hours is ridiculous, because let's say you work a 40-hour week, 8 hours times 5 days, and that would be 100 weeks. So 2 years of making Battlefront 2 your first full-time job to grind out and unlock everything, that's not acceptable. I guess I can't do this, so I do want rank to win, so I'm gonna just go ahead and take this victory, even though it's not a big issue right now. Hollow Knight for the Switch has been delayed to early 2018. This may be the turn that we start seeing. A lot of things had been announced for the Switch now that people know the Switch is here to stay and a popular console. But I think it seems pretty consistent in the video game industry for people to announce things then delay things. Particularly independent people. The AAA people probably should delay more things, and the indie people should not announce things at all until they're 100% certain. Next bit of news, Crytek is bringing a Battle Royale mode to its free-to-play game Warface. I think they said this was a short-term experiment. Yeah, Crytek says the mode itself is somewhat of an open test in the first form. It will only be available for a limited time, but will return in the future after the developer can chew through the player feedback and fine-tune the game mode. So, yep. Another PUBG Battle Royale competitor to see if it works for them. Warframe, not really a successful game at all, so they frankly are probably desperate to do anything to get any attention for it at all. There's a game called Shining Resonance Re:*Frame. Announced for the PS4, due out March 29th in Japan. Let's see if we can see more about it. It includes a new refrain mode, so there must have been a previous game by a similar name. The last boss is the easiest. The last boss of the first chapter is the easiest to defeat. Really? That was important to say? But what kind of game is it?
I bleed for Cthulhu.
Must be some kind of RPG game, I would assume, since it's talking about a boss.
Listen closely.
Well, I've got only a picture to see, and it does look like it's a RPG of some sort. So the new Pokemon movie that apparently is in theaters has a spoiler at the very end that is freaking out people, I think kind of fairly, because Pikachu, either because of a hallucination or imagination of Ash, or just because they've broken a canon for Pokemon that's been around for probably decades now. Is Pokemon at least 1 decade, if not 2, old? So Pikachu has spoken and just actually talks to Ash Ketchum at the end of the movie, and says full words besides just saying his own name, which I guess that's the direction they're going anyways, because Detective Pikachu is a thing and that was going to come out and have him talk too. So, but I wasn't certain that Detective Pikachu was going to come to the West. I imagine even the Japanese people think that's a little weird. But, whatever. Yeah. It's seeing some part of your history and your youth being drastically changed. It's not even that drastic. Is a little weird. Let's see. There's a Kickstarter campaign launched for a handcrafted sci-fi mystery adventure called Truberbrock, due out for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC in late 2018. And can we get any more images of it? I see one picture, and it is probably selling itself somewhat on like Cuphead's idea of animating things, but it's certainly not Cuphead's animation. This, on the other hand, looks kind of like something you might get by a single animator using Blender, which is a open source 3D animation software. It actually looks rather good. It kind of looks like more of the European animated movies. Some of this is not being animated at all, though. The backgrounds are being made by models and then it's being digitally scanned in. So they're wasting a ridiculous amount of time and effort to do this. I mean, it's an interesting thought to do models, but it is also an insane thought. So if this one happens, it's going to happen in spite of itself. This looks like a movie crew making a movie, not a video game crew making a basically point and click adventure game. And it doesn't seem like they're wireframing or stop motion seeing the characters, just the backgrounds. At least that's what it seems like. But it also looks like it's closer to being done than just a concept. People have actually worked on this. Like, here's my thought though, is that this is going to be one of those games that could easily halfway through decide it doesn't want to be a video game anymore, and instead it becomes a movie or something else. And then there's another major problem I'm seeing on the list of things it's talking about. It says it has 10 hours of up to 10 hours of gameplay, but the major problem is it says inspired by Twin Peaks, The X-Files, Stranger Things, and Star Trek. Like, way too many games are inspired by Twin Peaks. Way too many. Like, that's not gonna be good. But whatever, Truberbrook does look interesting, and it does look closer to being finished. Not that I would suggest anybody actually fund the Kickstarter, but it's interesting to look at. Another piece of news. It sounds like, according to this Eurogamer article, that the Microsoft's revamped Xbox avatars won't launch until next year. The thing with the new Xbox avatars, if anybody even cares, which honestly you shouldn't, is they were going to be a revamped artistic style. They were going to be more inclusive of people with disabilities, so there's like a lady with a robotic arm. The characters are moving a little bit slower. Here's a lady in a wheelchair. There's a kid skateboarding. Here's a guy riding a motorcycle. Like, I think there's probably some false equivalency there between the one person who needs a wheelchair to move and the other two people who can at any point not do it. There's a lady that's pregnant as one of the avatars. They just seem like they move a lot more. And have a different animation style to them. Whereas the original avatars are a little ridiculous. Much better color selector was one of the updates. We can see somebody riding a unicorn and spinning the color selector. Interesting improvements, but there's, I mean, it's not gonna do too much. I guess avatars are for little kids though, so if it helps little kids playing on an Xbox express themselves better, I guess it accomplishes its job. Here's a game called Code Realize Shirogane no Kiseki that has some box art, and that's all that this article is. It's coming out for the PS4 and the PS Vita on December 21st in Japan, and it's rated 0B. That's probably just a visual novel, if I was to guess. Yep. Oh. An entire article devoted to just 2 sentences to say here's the box art. And they get me. Particularly because it's just Japanese names of games that I don't remember if I've covered them before. Sinrin Kagura Burst renewal details costumes, diorama, and skinship. Can I explain what skinship is? I don't even know if I particularly fully understand the concept either.
Speak your piece.
Let's see. Costumes. I saw somebody playing Sinrin Kagura Peach Beach Splash, and honestly I think I really would like to play that at some point. As a Splatoon on PC with anime girl spin on it. So there's some costumes for Sinrin Kagura renewal. How many Sinrin Kagura games are coming out at a time? Diorama lets you freely place up to 5 girls on the map with your favorite poses and expressions produced, and view your favorite situations, become the cameraman, and find the best shot. Cool enough. Like, alright. Okay, so skinship in this instance, they're describing it directly. Rubbing, stripping, pinching, pulling. Enjoy the heart-pounding bodily communication with the girls of Sinrin Kagura, and costume destruction included. Enjoy the girls' cute reaction. So, this is what I've been calling the groping minigame that has become somewhat popular. And man, they are moving furiously in this demo. To my understanding, that's not what skinship means, but like, frankly, it's hard to explain. It kind of comes from the fact that in Japan, and when families are younger, they'll take baths together as a way of relaxing, and they bathe like every day. So a mother and father might take a bath together, and if they have a young daughter and son, they might all jump in a giant bathtub together too. Now they eventually stop doing that around puberty, I would imagine. And skinship has something to do with that, sort of. But in general, as I understood it, they would like massage each other too. And the skinship is, it's this idea that is in their culture of having a kinship by sharing your nudity in a society that is very reserved and usually proper with people that you really care about, like if that makes any sense. I think that's what that means. Like I said, I don't fully understand the concept. I'm not sure even the Japanese fully have a firm grasp on it. It is probably more of a word and an idea that is variable than a hardened set of rules or definitions, because the Japanese language is pretty subtle. So let's see if we can make a standard druid deck and play a bunch of druid cards now. But yeah, I don't know if there's really anything more you can say about it. And it may sound awkward and weird explaining skinship to non-Japanese people, but in the United States it's not unheard of for some parents to bathe with their young children or put siblings all in the bath the same together, excluding the parents even if the siblings are of different genders, whereas maybe in other countries that would seem odd. Although maybe it only seems odd to the American mentality and it doesn't seem odd in most countries. What was the other mode here? Oh, there was some more other costumes showing off here. These costumes aren't too bad. Enslaved Odyssey to the West had some DLC costumes that did not even activate until you played the game all the way through. So they were literally the worst bit of cosmetic DLC you could imagine. And then the costumes you got, like, you only had 3 of them. And honestly, one of them was awful. Like, there was the female character's named Trip, and the costume for her is called Sexy Robot Trip, and it makes some of her limbs robotic and gives her a metal bikini, and it looks just awful. It's not sexy. It's not an interesting looking costume. One leg is fully robotic and metal. The other leg is human, and which is just an awkward design in the first place. The other 2 costumes, which you can only have one costume enabled anyways, are for the male character Monkey, and one has him in a black outfit that looks pretty much like the main outfit, but it's in black, and he has some ninja tattoos, and that was called Ninja Monkey. And then the third outfit was Classic Monkey, which just kind of put him in a more classical Chinese outfit that was alright, but it wasn't really that great. That's not a valid part. Like, it wasn't a great outfit either. And yeah, the fact that you couldn't even see those outfits. I had tried to turn them on early in the game, and they just weren't working. It's so ridiculous. Although, there's something strange about that too. Because the game Enslaved is made by Bink Video, so all the video in the game is actually rather easy to watch now. You can just click on the video and watch it, and there's some sound effects missing on it, and so it sounds different if you just watch the Bink videos, but it's all there, it's all pre-rendered. So they must do some kind of texture overlay with the skins to make all the cutscenes have the new costumes. Or they've pre-rendered videos for no reason. Which maybe they did do that, but it's hard to tell. Let's go ahead and kill this. And then kill this. Apparently there's a Hitman TV series in the works at Hulu. I don't watch any Hulu things. Just to put it simply. I've never liked the interface on Hulu. Hulu seems to be very focused on showing normal people TV. What is like NCIS things. A lot of those things are also on Netflix, but Hulu is only really focused on TV. It's not really focused on movies as far as I can see, or last time I checked. And I can't really think of any original content that has even made me for a second want to watch it. So if Hitman does come to Hulu, I suppose I have a way to watch it, probably. If it actually gets finished. If there actually is a Hitman TV series. Does the Hitman series work as a TV series? I guess. Depending on what you want your Hitman story to be about. Because at the core of it, the one Hitman game I played was a ridiculous story, but from what I saw on reviews of other games, the one Hitman game I played, which I believe was the Hitman reboot, or the latest Hitman game before the Hitman reboot, that story was really crazy. At a certain point you were fighting nuns in assassin ladies dressed up as nuns and dominatrix at the same time, wearing black leather, and you were sneaking around trying to kill them. So if that's what the Hitman series is, it's going to be ridiculous things like that. That's not going to work. But that's not what the newest game I think is. I think the newest game takes it a little bit more seriously, and the only elements that are pretty consistent and necessary is that the Hitman works for secret agents, a secret organization to assassinate people. They're not particularly bad people, or sometimes they're bad people, but it seems like it's just whoever's the highest bidder, and that's kind of all I imagined that would be in the Hitman TV series. At a certain point, the Hitman character is not very emotional, and so I don't know how you fix that without making him more emotional. Or you just have a game TV series called Hitman that really has nothing to do with the rest of the game series. The one Hitman game I did play involved like the fact that he was a clone, and that there was this girl that was also a clone or something that you were trying to protect through all of it. I think probably in a TV series you would want some character that the Hitman character was protecting. And also there are 2 more Hitman games in development, which, okay, like, all this makes sense. Let's see. So that's early days certainly for everything. Nintendo says porting classic games to smartphones isn't the way to go. So they're not just gonna take old games and put them on the cell phones. So that just leaves people to use emulators if they want to play the old Nintendo games on cell phones, which your mileage will probably vary a little bit on that, like depending on how powerful your cell phone is and how powerful your emulator is. But probably won't vary that much. It'll probably run just fine.
My hand is full.
They also, in the same thing, were talking about trying to find a partner to enter the China market, which they're open to that idea if they can find the right partner. Which, okay, like, I don't know if Nintendo in particular needs to be any bigger, particularly in China, but maybe not.
For the wild. Target stealth.
Nintendo and Universal are also in talks for a animated Mario Brothers movie, which would be 2 decades since the last Super Mario Brothers movie. I assume this is Super Mario Brothers. Nobody's gonna make a movie based on the original Mario Brothers, which is the arcade game. You can't even jump on the turtles in Mario Brothers. So if you ever wondered what the super in Super Mario Brothers is, it's the fact that he can jump on turtles in that. I'm sure there's probably some other reasons or arguments to differentiate the two series, but I'd say that's the biggest one. I believe this is Universal that made like the Emoji Movie and Despicable Me, so you know, I don't even know if that's really gonna play with kids today. I don't know if anybody cares, but sure, why not? Try it. Let's see. I think I already talked about OK KO. This is a PC gamer. I think just another kind of advertisement of it. It looks like one of those modern cartoons, and I think actually it is based on one of the newer cartoons that happens on Cartoon Network. Yeah, it's a Cartoon Network video game tie-in, so probably nothing to even really say there. According to this article on PC Gamer, Russian military used video game screen to, quote, prove the US was working with ISIS. The purported shot of a fleeing convoy actually came from the mobile game AC-130 Gunship Simulator. Okay. So, take that for what you will. Don't come to my channel, all the Russian people that want to defend everything Russia does. Nothing really more to say about that story. I'm trying to kind of rush through here, and I think we're just gonna have one recording today, and then just a lot of silent post-show. There's a PC Gamer article called Tips for Coping with the Cost of Hearthstone. I'll read that myself. There's like lists here that you probably, they're telling you that you probably want. Tip 1, don't focus on every class. Do realize that there are very few must crafts. don't spend too much on any one set. That is certainly something I'm going to be considering. Playing all these cards for no reason. Just double this weight to craft. Let's see. Right. The Cripperian made a very, I think, well thought argument about how it gets so expensive to get into the new expansions that it messes with the meta, and people don't want to spend their hard-earned gold on the wrong cards, so they're not spending dust and gold on that, which is causing the meta to be even worse, which it just keeps going in circles. The next tip is shun the wacky. Look out for deals on Amazon coins. I think that's how Cripperian, in particular, gets away with a lot of this, is that he gets Amazon coins through either pushing Amazon coins or doing something else.
Where have you been hiding?
Firefox has a new browser called Firefox Quantum, and it's designed on a completely new engine, and it will not only outpace Chrome but crush it in terms of memory usage, which, let's face it, memory usage is high on Chrome, but I don't think I would specifically get away from using Chrome. The 2017 Game Award nominees include Cuphead, PUBG, Wolfenstein 2, and Edith Finch. Let's see if we can get a longer list here. These I believe are the Jeff Keighley Video Game Awards. No, this is just called the Game Awards. You can vote now. So maybe on Friday we'll go through the whole list of the Game Awards. And let's see. Okami HD for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC has some new videos to show how it works. Like the celestial brush in the Wii element is going to be an issue, like, because these now are on consoles that don't have those things. So I'd like to see how this is going to work when you need to draw something. And that video didn't show anything.
Malfurion versus Garrosh.
Victory or death! I must protect the wild.
Well, it seems like it's just gonna work with the controller, honestly. There seems to be a button that brings up a overview map that you draw on the overview map with a brush. So yeah, I think they've just got it under control. Nothing special there. I guess they couldn't have really done anything too special anyways. Let's do this and then return. Let's see. Here's the argument. Which cord should you use to connect your monitor? The first choice is DisplayPort. It's the newest one. Yeah, so new even I didn't recognize it when I first saw it. I kept trying to cram an HDMI cord into the DisplayPort plugs of my video card. And I've done the opposite too, and tried to cram DisplayPort cords into an HDMI connector. DisplayPort's the best. Second best is HDMI. There are some issues with cheap HDMI cords that I've certainly been having for the past couple of years, where I bought, I think, monoprice HDMI cords, and they either were just not the high enough quality to do the latest standard of HDMI, or there was just something else wrong with them. In general, though, you're going to need a lot of good HDMI cords. HDMI 2.0, 3.0. I don't think we're up to 4.0 on HDMI. 2.1. Man, according to this article, 2.1 should start arriving in high-end devices in 2018. So, yeah, 2.1. Worst case scenario, DVI to HDMI, or DVI to DisplayPort, and then try to avoid using any adapters on any of those if you can avoid it. Let's see. For a second there, I thought the new expansion was coming out today. I have like no clue when it's gonna come out, and Hearthstone is pretty typical to not tell you and just have it happen. More reason for me to try to wake up and be awake at noon, because that'll be when it happens, and I will want to make special videos. There's a sim called The Quest Giver, where you build a guild and hire adventurers. Let's see what this looks like. It doesn't. The still I'm looking at doesn't look that good. A lot of black screens. No, it seems kind of a little indie. But maybe. Like the graphics don't look great, and they don't sell me, which is a problem. At the very beginning of your game, to not sell me with the visual aspect, which is the thing I'm gonna look at or ingest mentally before anything else. I don't like the art style. I don't think it's detailed enough. It seems a little fuzzy and blurry. Let's see. It's a Kickstarter game. It's slated for a mid-2018 release. It needs a lot of polish. The concept of playing as an NPC and hiring adventures and management as in a management sim is kind of interesting, but it seems like it's being done at least 4 or 5 different ways now, and I'm not sure any of them are going to succeed. There's a game called Short Trip. It's a interactive illustration, so it's not a game that took 5 years to make. And let's see, is it even on Steam? It looks like a bunch of pencil drawings, just black and white. Seems like you're riding a trolley, and honestly that might be the only thing here. And again, this is a PC Gamer article that's really just an advertisement. Like, there's nothing here that has any reason to be mentioned at all. There is a game called Short Trip, or an interactive story. Marvel Heroes is closing down. Disney has confirmed that it is ending the relationship with developer Gazillion. The free-to-play Diablo MMO Marvel Heroes got its biggest update ever in January, with an overhaul of all 59 heroes. and several other things, and now it's being shut down. I believe people actually liked Marvel Heroes, and now because it's this online thing, now we move into the part where Disney sends out DMCAs to people that try to keep the servers running, so they can continue to play the game they want to play, and because they don't want to support it, or they want to go in a different way probably and have a different company make a different MMO that's almost exactly the same. And I'm to the Humble Bundles. Humble Bundle has a care package bundle where 100% of it goes to charity. It gives you a bunch of games that you'd be probably hard pressed to not own a significant number of them unless you're just getting into PC gaming right now. The games aren't bad. There's some decent ones like Psychonauts. There's, let's see, what else?
What to do?
I guess depending on your taste, you might find a lot of these not interesting. There is a terrible one called Mighty Number 9 in it. There's Grey Goo, Her Story, Pony Island, Stardew Valley, Minecraft Story Mode, Darkest Dungeon, Starband. And you can pick between 5 different charities that you want to support: American Red Cross, Doctors Without Borders, Global Giving, Direct Relief, and Save the Children. Yeah, if you're new to Humble Bundle, this bundle probably works for you. If you're not, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, I don't want to start looking at all of the comic book things. I'm gonna just stick with the video game bundles. Yeah, that'll do me just fine. And like, if I start tempting myself, I might actually start buying those comic book bundles, and then I'd never do anything with them. I'd never read them. And now I'm back to my Twitter, looking to see. Apparently, Belgium may classify Overwatch and Star Wars Battlefront 2 as gambling, which, if even just European countries start doing that, we're gonna see different versions of the game, and at a certain point, people are just gonna decide to stop doing that, and then we'll stop seeing loot boxes. So, like, ideally in the United States, it would be very nice to not have the government involved, but have government involvement in smaller countries force their hand anywhere, and the threat of US government involvement always be there. Black Friday deal. Here's an article from PC Gamer for Black Friday deals. I'll look at that. I think I'll just talk about that. Oh, and I just published an hour ago Absconding Zatwar, one of the fake games that was kicked off of Steam. Interesting. So yeah, there's a couple things here, but nothing big. Capcom is showing off Resident Evil Revelations Switch exclusive features. And Fanatical, the new thing, the new name for Humble Bundle, has its own bundle that's not listed here, called the Max Damage Bundle. And let's see, it's age restricted, So let's just pick some random year. Let's say I was born. There we go. And 8 chaotic games. Carnage Max Damage, Pudge Club, System Shock Enhanced Edition, Guts and Glory, Serial Cleaner, Final Exam, Moon Chroma, and Sunstrike Gold. And it looks completely different from the Humble Bundle. You don't get to pick anything on this bundle. You just add it to a cart. The website looks completely different. And yeah, I don't think I'd want to go for that. I don't think I want to do that. So I need 6 more Druid cards. Easy enough to do. I need to do the Tavern Brawl on the other 2 accounts. Let's see what else we need to do on the other 2 accounts. As I read this. Black Friday tech deals in the US. From Tech Radar, from Games Radar, from T3.com. I bet all of these sites are the exact same parent company. So I want to trade out this 40. So win 7 games, that's going to be hard. And play 30 battle cry cards, that'll be easy. I did get a pack, so I might as well open it now. And let's see what these cards are. Come on. They're nothing. Yeah. I don't think I'll be reading this article to use Black Friday deals. I think you're better off just sticking with slick deals. And so yeah, an arena run on the European and get 7 victories. And then let's see what we have to do on the Asian account too. Yep, and I just have a couple things.
There you are, the life of the party.
Let's see, so we trade out the 40. Come on, X. And so play 10 weapons and win 3 games with Warrior on this one. And do the Tavern Brawl too. So I've got a lot of work to do on the Silent Post show after this. But there's really nothing to talk about, and you may have noticed I didn't mention anybody saying hi or anything. It's a slow Wednesday. I don't attribute that to really anything other than the fact that it did not announce that I was streaming. So that's going to be it for this recording. Stay tuned for the Silent Post show. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.